All right, I'm back with another one. Better Call Saul, the final season, guys. We only got 3 episodes left. Season 6, episode 10. All right, it's called Nippy. And if you watch the story, you know that's about the fake dog that Saul pretended his dog was missing, Nippy. But the description of the episode is a new player gets in the game. And after watching the episode, you wonder what could they mean by that? I have an idea. You have to stick tuned to see what my theory is with that one. But this, if you've been watching the series Better Call Saul, we've been having like this before each season. We'll have this black and white, this black and white cutscene that starts off each season. It's like an intro scene that starts off each season of Better Call Saul. And what it is shot in black and white, and it's the aftermath of Breaking Bad when Saul is in not witness, but Saul is off the grid, and he's working at this Cinnabon as a Cinnabon manager, and we'll get shots of him and of his life and just how his day-to-day life is. As Gene, that's his name. He's going by now, Gene. And we see Saul. We saw basically where he fell at work. He passed out at work, like through the cutscenes, through the seasons. He fell at work and hit his head. He had to go to the hospital, and when he leaves the hospital, the emergency room, he gets in a cab with a little Albuquerque air freshener hanging from the cab. The cab driver is staring at him in the cab. And one day when he's in the mall, that cab driver recognizes him as Saul Goodman and IDs him. And hey, that's Saul Goodman. He's sitting in the mall. There's a policeman right by them. So he has to try to quiet the guy down. And the guy like, say it, Better Call Saul. And he got him to say, Better Call Saul. So this episode is basically a conclusion of how Saul deals with that guy. Now, the guy that originally played that character, let me see if the character's name, if it pops up here. Okay. Let's see if the character pops up for us in this episode. Yeah, Pat Healy played Jeff. That's the guy. And then Carol Burnett, the legendary Carol. We're going to get to that. But Pat Healy, okay, the Jeff character. That Jeff character, that's a recast. That Pat Healy guy, that's a recast. Okay? Jeff, the character of Jeff was originally played by another actor. That actor wasn't available to shoot this episode. So they had to recast that, and they got the Pat Healy guy to play that. The other guy, the guy who originally played Jeff, that drove the cab and identified Saul in the shopping mall, was he wasn't available. He was filming this show called We Own the City on HBO. So he wasn't available. And I'm trying to remember. I just watched We Own the City, and I'm trying to remember, do I remember him, like what character he played? I can't remember exactly what character he played. But yeah, so this episode was shot in all black and white, and it's basically a conclusion. It's basically what we would call a conclusion of these little intro, black and white intros we've been seeing of the whole series. So I like this episode. I really like how they shot it. I like the conclusion. So beginning. So basically, Saul he plans out this whole scheme. I mean, he plans it out, and I mean, he plans out a way. Basically, what he was doing, he's trying to get Jeff's. He became friends with Jeff's mother, played by Carol Burnett behind me here. So he concocts this whole thing. I mean, if we look at Jeff's mother, she goes to the supermarket, and we introduce her. On her way back, he scams up, act like he looking for a puppy. He puts some snow in the sidewalk, so her her little riding wheelchair, the scooter, it gets stuck. He cuts the wires to the scooter, pushes her home, and then Jeff comes home and sees that Saul is all friendly with his mother, and he looks terrified. So when they go outside, he sit through the dinner and everything. When they go outside to throw the trash away, Saul tells him, "Look, you want in or not? I got a scam." And Saul plans this whole elaborate scam. I mean, to the T. Basically, you watch him just he befriends the security guards. If you notice, when he brought the cinnamon rolls into the security guard, the first security guard to answer the door, the skinny one, that's the same security guard that he told the kid that the security guard got the shoplifter, and Saul told the kid to get a lawyer, and the security guard was looking at Saul pissed off. So that's remember when he answered the door and he said, "Get a lawyer." The security guard said, "Saul, yeah, I remember you. You told the guy to get a lawyer." But anyway, Saul. It looks like Saul spends what 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks or so, taking cinnamon rolls to these guys every day, befriending these guys, just so he can time. He can time the how long it takes that fat guy to eat the cinnamon roll, because the whole time he eating the cinnamon roll, he has his back to the camera, and he counts his steps. He walks through the department store counting his steps, and all this kind of, like, all this elaborate planning just to steal some clothes, right? So, and it looks like a lot of the ironic things, a lot of the clothes that he stole, the Armani suits and all that, that's the stuff Saul Goodman used to wear. And he does all that. He pulls the heist and everything. He's successful with the heist. Had a close call when Jeff slipped on the scuff mark on the floor and busted his head open and laid there. And that's when Saul went into we saw classic Saul Goodman, where he lied to. He didn't lie, really. He described Jeff his life. He says, "I don't have a wife. I don't have children. My brother died." That was all the truth. All that really happened. And then he did a fake cry, which I don't know. That tear might not have been fake. But, he probably does miss his brother Chuck. And he does that just long enough to stall out the fat guy from looking at the TV screen and wait for Jeff to wake up and get out and get out of the camera. And the funny thing is, it was just uncomfortable enough of a story to where Saul is probably not going to seem out of place I'm sorry, Gene. He's Gene now. Gene is not going to seem out of place by not showing up with the cinnamon rolls anymore, because it was an uncomfortable enough situation to where Gene is probably not, if he don't show up with the cinnamon rolls anymore, they're not going to even bother to even think about why. So it's really a good thing. It really is kind of a good thing that happened. That scene is remnants of back in Breaking Bad, when Walter White, when Hank was, when they wanted to plant something, they wanted to plant like a monitoring device or something in Hank's computer or whatever, and to get Hank to leave the room, Walter started crying and he made Hank feel real uncomfortable. It's remnants of that, back from the Breaking Bad days. But anyway, back at the house, at Jeff's house, Saul comes in there and he gets those guys together and he tells the guys, "Look, such and such what you did, that's a crime. You're gonna go to jail for this long. So look, we're done. I got you guys. If you guys try to take me out, I'm gonna bring you down with me. So Saul gets the upper hand back in his favor. And that's basically what Saul pulled. Now we know Saul didn't just pull that heist off just for that. He also pulled the heist off to he missed doing stuff like that. That's why he went into the department store after it was all done, and he picked up some clothing at the end of some old clothing that he would normally wear, and he hung the clothing up and walked away. Okay. And by the way, that obstacle course, that reenactment course that he made out in the snow, where he was training Jeff how to run, and the little catchphrases they put where 1, 2 shoes for you and Jordans for you and all that kind of stuff, 3, 4, like it was real good. Like that was just great elaborate planning, great part of the episode. And when he told the Walter White story, right? Remember he talked about the little call to Walter White. He talking about a science teacher came into my office with couldn't even pay his mortgage, and 2 years later he had enough money to fill up a station wagon. Nice nod to Walter White in Breaking Bad. Well done. It just was an all around good episode. And it just was a great job done. But moving on to predictions. All right. So what's next with the last 3 episodes we got? I have no idea. No idea. And that's good. That's great, man. Like where they could go with this, I don't know. But let me take a shot. You see old Carol Barnett right there? Well, to bring in somebody a caliber of Carol Barnett, they could do this one episode and that'll just be fine. She would have served her purpose. But I'm gonna tell you, that Carol, if you remember that her character, Carol Barnett character here, what's her character's name? Let me get it right. Okay. Marion. I think it looks like Marion. Forgive me if I pronounced it wrong. Hooked on Phonics didn't work for me. Marion. Okay, if you remember her, when we first saw her testing that cheese out in the supermarket, and she was like Schultz. By the way, that cheese was named after one of the producers of the television show, I think. But anyway, when she said Schultz, you can take that back to Wisconsin or whatever. We saw early about her character. When we saw she didn't want Gene to help her when she was stuck in the snow. And we could see when her son came home, she's a tough old lady. She one of them tough old mamas, and she run that household. She one of them tough old ladies. We all can relate to that. We all got some of them in our family, don't we? And she seemed like the type of person you don't F with. You don't F with her. Okay? You don't F with Mama Marion. Okay? So, if you remember, when she talked to Gene, she was telling Gene that her son Jeff got mixed up with the wrong crowd down in Albuquerque. In some kind of way, I'm going to think she's going to find out that Gene, aka Saul, has been lying about that Nippy dog. She going to ask about the dog Nippy. He going to get caught up in it. Because if you remember that scene when she was telling her about how Jeff got caught up with some bad people in Albuquerque, Saul, she kind of caught Saul off guard. He almost blew it. And he's like, oh yeah, Nippy, yeah, he's fine. I found him. See what I'm saying? I found Nippy. I think some kind of way Saul gonna get caught up in that. And Carol and Mama Marion is gonna find out that he's lying. And Mama Marion You don't cross Mama Marion. Mama Marion might be the one to blow Saul's cover. She might call the authorities on him. It might be Mama Marion. Some of us, I've been kind of suspecting that Kim is going to come back into play some kind of way. And Kim might be the one to blow his cover, but it just might be Mama Marion. But you know what? We're just going to have to watch and find out. If you are still here, you are a real supporter. I appreciate you. Okay? And thanks for watching, but do me a favor. Hit the share button. Hit the comment. Tell me what you think about this episode. Hit the subscribe button. Tell a friend. Until next time. Better yet, until next episode.